Welcome to DCC Road Crew Horror, where I will run a party of 6 random level 2 PCs through a twisted marsh full of dangers and secrets. For you see, the alligator-infested waterways of the Twilight Marsh harbor a mystery. Last year, a child went missing for a week before being found deep within the marshlands, so far from home that it was unimaginable as to how she could have gotten there. Despite being questioned, little Idris said nothing. She only smiled. For you see, little Idris has a secret. But those events of last year refuse to remain buried, and something ancient has been released in the swamp. Strange cries have been heard in the darkness, indistinct shapes have been seen among the mangroves, and local children tell whispered stories of a lurker coming for them out of the darkness. A horror that threatens the lives of all it encounters. Whatever it is not human. Whatever it is, it kills without mercy. And whatever it is, it must be stopped. Can our party survive the night of the bog beast? Good morning, guys. Welcome to Dungeon Crawl Classics Horror Night of the Bog Beast, the level 2 horror adventure. My name is Judge Shadowfoot. I am preparing this game for a local convention here in LA. I'm actually running a 0 level, 1st level, 2nd level, and 3rd level horror kind of as a campaign over the 4-day weekend. So it's going to be streamlined a little bit, trying to shrink it down to 4 hours. So a couple things we'll end up skipping there, and I'll be doing a little bit more of leading you guys towards things. This module does come with a bit of a hex crawl, but I'm going to clean that up just for time's sake. But with that, welcome. We have a cleric, elf, halfling, thief, and warrior today. I think we might possibly be missing one. No, we're good. All right, so we have everybody we need, and we are getting started. So, as you guys know, you have, whatever you've done before has brought you to this place. You find yourself on a bit of a rickety makeshift raft floating down a bayou. And you've traveled down the waterways of the bayou for over a week now. Supplies have been running low, and daylight is fast fading. Everything except for the frogs. There's plenty of frogs around, and their constant murmuring seems to be almost driving you crazy at this point. So you are relieved to see signs of inhabitation on the swampy shores. It doesn't appear as much, maybe a small fishing village, as there are several rotting wooden docks jutting out of the water and a number of small skiffs tied to the timbers. The village itself looks to be made up of ramshackle homes, no more than wooden boxes with crude doors. Still, beggars can't be choosers, and there certainly seems to be quite a bit of activity. Suddenly, people are running down to the water's edge and are waving their arms at you, frantically signaling. So much for a quiet resupply. As you punt your way to the ramshackle dock and tie off, the locals are a motley bunch. Marked by a lifetime of hard work in an unforgiving environment, the formerly boisterous crowd quiets their eyes, now focused on the waterways behind you, as if expecting something. And a single person steps forward. Older than the rest, he carries himself with an air of humility. He takes off a worn flat cap and works it in his hands as he looks downwards. Well, welcome to Gauze Blight, strangers. I'm Tyr Thibodeau, and I'm what passes for the headman around here. You best stay off the water at night. It isn't safe out there in the dark, but you're welcome to join us for a meal. We don't get much in the way of visitors, and we're all eager for news from afar. As he pauses, he looks up at the dying of the light. And there's matters I'd like to discuss with you. The other gathered villagers murmur their agreement and watch you closely. So these are the villagers you see running to the edge of the dock, frantically calling for you to join. And as you dock up and you start making your way into the town, I'll show you guys the map there. This is the small village you see. The dock's down here at the bottom. You see to your left there, on the bottom left, 1, 2, seems to be a larger, kind of more prominent building. It's whitewashed, it looks very nice and clean, and you see a sign over the top that marks this as the local traders. To the right, anything that says 1-6, A, B, C, D, all the way up through, I think it's like H, those all seem to be the makeshift town huts where people live. The ones off to the left are much more makeshift and rough. The ones to the right are a little bit better off. In the middle of town, 1-3, that seems to be a well. And at the very back of the village, you see what looks like a larger domed kind of building that looks like it's been made out of some kind of caked and baked mud. And then right there at the first thing you kind of come across in town, 1-5, is a large fire pit. And the fire pit seems to be burning, contained within a large communal fire pit. Several people hustle about, adding things to large pots that have been placed to boil. The rich smell of the evening meal is joined in the sing-song voices of children as they run about playing and shouting, all under the watchful gaze of their elders. The children do not stray too far from the fire, and one child stands apart from the rest, sitting with her family in deep conversation as opposed to being involved in play. So as the villagers lead you into town, they all kind of head in that direction as the sun is getting very, very dim. It seems like it's time for a communal kind of meal. What would you guys like to do?
So we are going direction to 1-3 or in direction of 1-2?
You're leaving the docks, and the first thing you would necessarily come across is 1-5, the fire pit.
And all the villagers are making their way towards the fire pit.
Yep.
You said there's one little girl who's not really participating. She's kind of sitting off by herself.
She's sitting with her family in like conversation.
Okay.
I am a little concerned about our wizard. He's been in a catatonic state for a little while now. What should we do about him?
I don't know. We don't know the place here, and also we're supposed to just resupply here. So I think for now we keep our heads down, see where this leads us.
Shall we just follow the villager that approached us?
Yeah.
Let him show us around?
It's free food, isn't it?
It is free food. It says, yeah, come with us. Where meal's just about ready. It's not lunch, but it's fairly good. And as you go towards the fire, it actually does smell like a fairly nice stew. And you see that there's several pots over the fire. The fire is quite large and kind of spread. And each kind of, it seems like the people are gathered in their own little families around the fire. There seems to be about 3, maybe 4 families here that you can make out. And they're all adding different things. It looks like they're adding, some kind of root vegetables, potatoes, fish, frog, some larger flesh. It looks like possibly from alligators of some sort. And it smells pretty nice.
I'm gonna follow the person that leads us in. Wait till he takes a bowl from whichever pot he chooses and take from the same one and eat just after he eats to make sure that it's okay if nothing else happens. And then I'll ask, so you wanted to talk to us about something?
Yes. Come. We'll get you. You'll get you settled with some food and make sure that everything's all right. And he heads over and he says, "This here is my son Titus. He'll set you up with something to eat." And Titus is serving food into like some wooden bowls with wooden spoons. Hand ones to Tyr, and Tyr goes and sits down just to the side there. And the rest of you can come up, and he pours them in. Here you go, and he gives each of you a bowl full of this stew. Go ahead.
I would like to go to each and every bowl, being the cleric, and I would say every piece of food must be cherished and bow, as in be thankful to the gods that food was brought onto us.
All right.
We'll acknowledge your prayer and join in. No matter what the god is, really, I don't care.
Shadow, I'm a corn farmer. I don't know if that's useful or not, but I just want to look to my bow and try to spot if there's anything unusual for a stew there. I mean, as we are sailors, I imagine we eat a lot of stews, so I just want to see if there's anything out of the ordinary about the food.
Go ahead and give me an intelligence check, our first roll of the day.
Could I help him in any way? I'm a miller. Maybe just not necessarily roll myself, just assist him with whatever he's doing.
We'll give you a +2 on that one, having somebody else who's dealing with food and those kind of things. So with an 11, looking at the food, it all looks, normal. It looks like a stew you would find at any kind of tavern of sorts. A mixed mash of, what's available in the area. I would say the only thing that looks a bit strange maybe is the larger chunks of meat have a strange bit of hue to them, but outside of that, everything looks absolutely normal.
I would definitely like to double check my food before I eat it. That's the elf.
Okay. Go ahead and you can give an intelligence check as well. We'll do one more check for the food. 7. It smells delicious, and you see absolutely nothing wrong with the food.
So in my prior life, I was a halfling chicken butcher, and according to my character sheet, I have 5 pounds of chicken meat. I would like to contribute that to the stew if I could.
You absolutely
can. I want to make a big show of it too, so that everybody can see that I'm contributing to the stew.
Oh, absolutely. So you can go up and find one of the people that's currently mixing up and adding ingredients and offer up the chicken, and they take it. Thankfully, they don't have a lot of chicken around here. Chickens seem to get taken by whatever creatures are out here, gators and the other things. So they're like, oh, chicken! Haven't had chicken in ages. Thank you, and starts chopping it up and adding it into the stew and mixing it around, and you can see that one smells even slightly better now.
Well, I'm gonna dig in.
I also seem to have a cow with me.
You guys have somehow brought your animals with you.
Yeah. I would like to attempt to milk it.
All right. Go ahead and just give me a luck check to see if it's currently giving milk.
I'm sorry, a what?
A luck check.
A luck check.
Yep.
Sure, just a second.
You start milking the cow in the middle of the town.
Don't worry about him. He likes his cow.
11. That would be a failure there. So with that, the cow's currently not giving any milk. So you go over, you try, but it moves a little bit and kind of looks at you, but no milk given.
It's fine, Bessie.
All right, so you guys sit down, start eating the milk, You start eating the stew, and it's quite good for this being kind of a middle of the swamps, very hard to do town. The stew that they put together seems to come out quite well. It seems like they are quite good at the farming what little root vegetables they have, and the hunting fish and gators and those kind of things. Do a pretty good job. Even the gator meat that looks a little bit odd tastes good. It's nothing that probably a better meal than you've had in some taverns.
Tastes like chicken.
Yeah. So as you guys are here, you see the children still seem to be running around singing a rhyme of some sort as they're skipping rope and doing other such play activities. This rhyme, I'll go ahead and share this handout with you guys and then go ahead and read it out. So what you hear, these children singing, and they kind of repeat it over and over again while they play. A man there was named Garaz Gaz, who came from across the plain. The locals feared and disliked him because his heart was set on gain. Garaz spied a water light maid who filled his heart, or his darkest hope. He gifted her a yard of braid, and with a little bar of soap. But young Waterlight was afraid, and so she fled this brute. She sped over hill, crick, and glade, with Garaz Gaz in hot pursuit. At last the maiden climbed a tree, and Goraz did the same. The lass was bent on being free, while Goraz desired her to claim. She balanced on a slender limb, then dove into the murk. She much preferred the eternal dark to the hand of that bearded jerk. The troubles of Goraz begin, cursed by maiden who feared. He snagged the whiskers of his chin, and the branches held his beard. Young Waterlight's soul drifted free. Goraz's soul was a loss. Wandering through the Twilight Marsh, a beast made up of dangling moss. And they sing this song over and over again while they play.
Is this sung by all the children except that one child that didn't join in?
Correct.
I would like to... Well, at first, sort of eavesdrop, but not necessarily stealthily. So if they notice me, then I'll just, go into conversation with them.
As they're singing, we'll say I'm going to go with two of the kids notice you, and they come over and they start talking. Hi, you're new.
Sorry, yeah, I I wanted to eavesdrop on the kid that wasn't in the.
Oh, wasn't in there?
Yeah.
So
The one who's talking to the family. Apologies for that.
problem, no problem. We'll say that you're sitting somewhat close to her, and she notices you kind of looking over, and she makes eye contact with you. And yes, you need something.
You don't seem to like the other children, or do you not like singing?
I just don't believe in the song. They're all superstitious. And she kind of rolls her eyes. It's like, obviously there is no monster. All that talk, it's just nonsense. There are plenty of dangerous things in the marsh. Mysterious monsters aren't any of them.
What kind of monster are they singing about, this moss beast? What are the legends?
And she kind of, again, rolls her eyes. It's called the bog beast. It's some kind of swamp creature made up of moss and snakes that comes into town and steals bad children.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say to this child, so I think as the conversation wears off, I'll just wait for to see what the rest of the party members do.
All right, as you guys are eating, Tyr finishes up his meal. He's the older man that greeted you on the dock, and says, "Well, if you've all had your fill, I'd like to talk to you now. It seems that people have gone missing as of late, and we don't know what it is. It could be, gators get them in the middle of the night. Could go wandering off and gotten lost. It could be the lizard folk way out in the bayou, but I highly doubt that. But it's putting us a little bit uneasy. In fact, just a couple nights ago, Avril Broussard, she disappeared. Don't have no sign of what happened to her.
Is she a child?
No. She's a fair lass. Younger than I, but not a child.
The child I talked to said that children go missing. I guess that's more of a folk tale.
Oh, don't go on about that old wives' tale. So
Yeah,
tell us more about the victims.
Well, we've heard that. Actually, the biggest thing is the Gauze family. They live out in the bayou. They're trappers, and they haven't been into town to trade as of late. They usually bring in plenty of gator meat and some hides, but they haven't been in for a while. Sometimes that's not strange, but this time a bit longer than usual.
And where was the last place that you saw her?
The Gauze family or Avril?
Avery.
Well, the dinner just the night before tonight. She was there. She was part of the community. She went to sleep and back in her cabin, which is right over there. And he points to 16B, the one behind the well. And that's where she was. And she's gone. Wasn't there in the morning and haven't seen her since.
Okay. And what exactly are you asking of us?
Well, if you're willing, if you could go check on the Gauze family, their shack's out near the cemetery. I can give you the best directions we can. These swamps kind of jut around in different directions. Paths almost seem to change daily. But if you could go check on them, see if there's any sign of them, and report back, that'd be quite helpful. And keep an eye out for Avril. She's about yay high, about 5 feet, and she's got brown hair. She's plainly looking, but that's the best description I can give you.
Okay, and what do we get from that?
Well, anything we can possibly provide you. We've got meager means, but we can give you everything we possibly can. And possibly, I saw you came in on a makeshift raft. We got some boats that we could possibly give you. They're, not much, but they do for gator fishing and such. And serve you better than a raft. And I'll get together with the town and see what else they can supply.
Yeah. Okay. What do you guys think about that?
I think
I think
this ghost one is probably just fine.
Sounds like an
This
adventure.
woman just ran off. because she wanted to not live in this backwater town anymore.
We cannot
Okay.
take any chances. I think we should investigate.
Well, very well then. Okay, so while we are investigating this, I take that you provide place for us to sleep and food as well.
Yeah. We have communal food here. We make meal each night, and in the morning we got some basics there for us. You can stay in Averil's place. She's gone missing. That's the only that building's free right now, and you can sleep there. And other than that, the sunset. I would suggest you don't go out at night. So in the morning we can get started. You don't have much time. The mangrove trees seem to grow up and join together in the overhead and block out most of the light. So generally, you only got about 8 hours or so a day of decent light to be making your way around the marsh.
Okay.
You said you could provide us with directions. Maybe a map of sorts?
Yeah, I could draw you out a rough map on how to get there. As I said, the waterways, they seem to change and shift from time to time, so I'll give you the best direction I can, but I can't promise that the path last taken will be there.
As for this Gorse family, how long do you suppose it would take for us to get there from here?
Oh, God's family take you maybe four hours tops to make it out that way on our skiffs.
Okay.
What time is it right now, Shadow? More or less?
It's dusk, so the sun is setting. At this point, you guys probably, by the time you're done with your meal, it'll be full-blown middle of dark. And with the fact... Go ahead.
They want us to go out at night, or do we have to go out at night?
No, they want you to wait till the morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they say it's not safe to be out on the water at night.
What if we wake up early though, like a couple hours before the sun?
If you wake up a couple hours or this is well, if you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. You can spend that couple hours getting your things ready to go, and then as soon as the light's just enough, you can head off. Still might be not the safest that first hour or so as the sun is rising, but you can definitely get an early start if you'd like. Just be careful out there.
I think we should investigate the house of this missing person. We might find something useful there.
Absolutely, that'll be the house you're staying in, so you can investigate as much as you can. Hopefully you find anything that'll give you some clues. And as this point comes in, everyone's kind of done eating. The children have come in now, and they all kind of like start sitting next to you guys. They seem, eager to investigate the strangers. They range from 7 years old to about 12 years old. And as they are, a couple sit down next to the cleric, and they start just joining you in conversation, just talking to you. And the first one, this girl by the name of Ara, aged 11, sits down next to the cleric, says, "Hey, you're new. Sometimes at night the world goes quiet. The frogs, the bugs, everything just goes totally silent, like they're holding their breath. Those are the nights that people seem to disappear." And Cor, a boy, sits down on the other side and says, "Yeah, Pa said that whatever took Mama used some sort of spell to make sure that nobody woke up. It unbarred the door and took her without us ever knowing."
Well, fear not, children. We're here to make sure we will at least attempt to solve your problems. Till then, you can stay with my cow. She's pretty chill.
Alright, and then they also say, and Pa also says that the Twilight Marsh are untouched by the sun and are doubly cursed by the darkness from both above and below. And be careful, if you see leeches, big leeches, there are always bigger ones nearby. And then sitting down next... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to... What do you mean everything goes silent? Did it go silent last night? Because I think you said... can't remember her name. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whoever disappeared. Agnes.
It was Avril.
Avril. Yes. They disappeared last night, or we suppose that they disappeared last night.
Yeah, you hear all those crickets and frogs going off right now, that hum of noise around us. That'll just go dead silent. There won't be a single noise. I even one time tried to wake up and call out for my pa, and he couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear myself. It just went totally silent.
And this happened last night as well?
Well, I'm not sure. I didn't wake up last night, but it happens from time to time.
And what about before last night? Before this woman disappeared? When was the last time another one of your village disappeared?
Oh, it's been at least a couple days since this happened the last time.
So there's more than one person missing.
Mm-hmm. All right, then
Okay, you say from
Go ahead.
you say from time. So before Avery, when was the last time that someone disappeared?
I'd say last week sometime. I'm not too good with the days.
Okay, and what is the name of the person who disappeared?
The other person that disappeared was last I heard was one of the Gauze family, Luther Gauze. He went missing.
All right, Luther. What is the Chad? Can you just type in the chat, there, please, the name of the girl who disappeared, the last one?
The last one that disappeared? Okay, so it was...
Is it Abril with the B?
Yeah, because yeah, after that, the one that we got the mission to look for.
Avril.
Oh, Avery. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But how many have disappeared in total?
In total, so far, have disappeared is from this town. Right now, there is, I want to say it was 3 total that have disappeared. One was, again, someone like you just kind of passing through, and the other 2 were people of the village. So the 2 boys that just sat down, the boy and the girl that just sat down and talked to the cleric were actually the children of Avril. And you can see they're, a little bit concerned, quite concerned. In fact, the youngest of the 3, there's a 3rd child that has come over, has been eating. He hasn't talked to anybody. He seems to be like sobbing almost uncontrollably as he cries for his mother.
Actually, I would like to approach the quiet girl, and I want to specifically ask her, what did the village think of Avril?
Well, she was absolutely fine. I mean, she was just a lady. She did some farming and, participated in the village. We here within the village are all quite friendly. The Marshaws there, and he points over at one of the other families, they're the newest family. They've only been here for, this is like their 2nd generation. Their family's only been here for about 50 years or so. And the rest of us have been here for ages. The Gauze family, they're the weird ones. They stay out in the marsh. They don't come, like I said, they don't come to the town very much, as Tyr told you. They just come in to trade. They're a bit backwater folk.
So they're considered weird, but are they disliked by the villagers?
There's some prejudices against them. Those who survive out on their own are always a bit weird.
Well, thank you for the information. I'll rejoin my companions.
All right,
Well,
go ahead.
No, just look to our companions. Well, I think for now, we should just get some rest and live in the morning and try to find his family.
All right. So as you guys are resting and such like that, there still are a few more children that come down and sit with you. So sitting next to the elf is a girl named Palna. She's 10. And says, Time and Tide, and points to these 2 twins, say that some sort of monster chased them through the marsh. They saw it, so I know it's not just one of them lizard folk from out back ways. And the 2 boys hear, her talking about them and run over. Say, yeah, we saw it. We was gigging frogs, and there was eyes watching us out of the water. It followed us kind of slow through the water, but we were too clever for it. we got ashore and ran along the banks until it couldn't see us no more. And he says, and hey, you know, out there in the Twilight Marsh, there are no apples. No apples out there at all. And then watch out for those marked by the moon. They're children of the serpent god Yig. And they are watched over, protected, and sometimes even avenged by their father. And with that, the kids go back to kind of doing their singing and song and skipping rope and things as everyone starts to come to a close. The adults, pack up their things that they need to, grab their children, and head off towards their different huts. And Tyr leads you off towards Hut 16B. As he's heading off that way, he points out, the only person that didn't come to dinner tonight, and you may have seen someone get a bowl of food and take it back towards the large mud hut in the back, and says, old Zebulon back there, our cleric, he, if you need any kind of religious rites done for you, he'd be the man to see, and, but he's probably asleep already, so in the morning you can speak with old Zebulon if you'd like as well.
Was it the description of the lizardmen? Were they the children of the god Yit or something?
So it's Yig, Y-I-G.
Yig.
Yeah, so that's the serpent god, basically. And he's like, well, I don't know if the lizard folk pray to Yig or not. We don't interact with them much. As little as we possibly can, actually. But they seem to leave us alone as long as we leave them alone.
Do they patrol the swamp?
They do from time to time. If we journey out too far, we may see them, doing the same thing as us, out hunting, just watching their borders and such. But they've never come into our town as far as I'm aware.
Do your hunters report being attacked by them? Or is it just a peaceful coexistence?
They've had one or two encounters with them, possibly just, fighting over some food. They were hunting gators, and the lizard folks seem to be doing the same thing, and gotten a bit of a squabble over whose it was. But outside of that, they, like I said, they seem relatively peaceful. They leave us to ours as long as we leave them to theirs.
Thank you.
All right, well, you folks have a good night. And we'll see you in the morning, hopefully. And he heads off to his house.
Is there anything anybody else would like to do before we all head into bed?
I'd like to ask a fellow wizard who doesn't appear catatonic anymore to see if he's had a vision.
Oh, is our wizard muted?
Oro, are you muted?
Hi, I'm here. Sorry, I had this
Looking
down
live.
for 10 a.m., not 9 a.m., so.
No worries.
But I'm a wizard, and I'm here. I missed all the introductions.
That's okay. All right. So as you guys come to the cabin, you guys look around, and again, it's very, very makeshift, made up of whatever scraps they could possibly find to make these things. The door itself is loosely hanging on its hinges there. The wood itself seems to be weathered and rotted. You can see like different portions of it have been replaced at different times as the wood is rotted from the moisture of the swamp and had to be replaced. And the roof itself has a few gaps in it and things of that nature, but luckily it's not raining tonight.
Actually, looking around, I would like to compare the hut we're in to every other one. Is the hut we're currently in the worst one?
I would say that it is on par with the couple others that are near it. All these ones that are to the left here are all a bit rough and ramshackle. All in different levels of decay and repair. The only ones that seem to be really nicer are the ones to the bottom right here, the three there. Which, as you saw the families head off in different directions, the three to the bottom right there seem to belong to the Marshaws, who you've also heard through conversation around the fire pit are the newest family to join the town, and they run the trading post, which is down in the bottom left.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I muted myself. Okay. Just before we go to sleep, I would just like to listen out and maybe just stay up a little longer and see if everything goes silent, just in case.
Okay. So as you guys are also, getting yourself situated inside this the hut, you do notice a couple things. Along like the entranceway, you see some muck. It looks like swampy, mossy muck coming across the deck there. The door itself has a few scratches in it, but it's kind of hard to really make out whether they're just rough from being worked or anything fresh. And the inside was tossed a little bit, not too much. It's hard to tell. It's kind of a mess to begin with. But you can definitely tell that some of the overturned table and chairs where there's some plates and things scattered across the ground and such. So it looks like there was a small confrontation inside, but not too much to give you any hint on where they could have gone.
I would like to attempt to cast Detect Evil to see if maybe we can figure out what kind of creature, evil, whatever, might have done the deed.
All right, go ahead, and if you have that, you can cast that.
Oh, just a second. Detect, yes.
That is a failure. So as you go to cast, something seems to be blocking you from reaching out to your god at this moment, or your god just doesn't respond because it can't detect anything. So for some reason, you're not getting any sense of any evil around you.
Okay.
Could be a good thing.
Okay. I'd just go to sleep then.
All right. So as you guys lay down for the night, the night seems, fairly quiet. You've got the crickets going off. You've got frogs ribbiting and doing all of those kind of things. But other than that, it is fairly quiet. And I lost my spot. Where are we at? There we go. All right. So as the night goes on, everyone, finds themselves a comfortable place to sleep. And say about a little past midnight or so, I'm going to have everybody go ahead and just roll me a fortitude save.
Fortitude. Guess we started, huh?
Oh man, bad start to this. What was that, like 3 critical ones there? Ouch. Alright, that's okay. So the only person that wakes up is going to be our wizard. The wizard, you wake up because the hum that had put you to sleep has suddenly gone quiet. You no longer hear anything. There's no crickets, there's no birds, there's no frogs. Even you, as you get up, the normal rustle of the blanket on top of you, your feet across the wooden floor, you don't even hear that.
I say, wake up, everybody! It's too quiet!
And you hear nothing. Your voice doesn't even come out.
And can I see around me?
Yeah, there's some dim light coming in. There's still a couple lanterns lit in the town, and the village itself is open to the sky, so the moonlight's coming in a bit. So you can see just dimly enough to see around and see that everyone else is still sleeping.
And even if I... Ow! Nothing, huh?
Nothing. No sound comes out.
Okay. I'm gonna open the door a little bit and look outside. Do I see any action going on anywhere?
As you open the door, you see something shambling past the well. Looks like a pile of moss and vines.
Uh-oh.
Is it the bird? Is it the bird? Is it the plane?
Pile of moss and vine. All right.
Burn it.
Yeah. Well, what do I got? Magic missile.
Wait, can you actually cast magic if you can't speak?
It
Yeah.
depends on the spell, I guess.
You go to start saying your magic words and nothing comes out. You hear nothing. I've got a short bow. I'm gonna draw a short bow and plunge an arrow in it. All right. As you fire, a 5 will miss. As you fire your arrow, it goes sailing over, hits the wall on the other side, hits building 1-6, and makes no sound as it hits the building.
It doesn't get the moss's attention.
Doesn't seem to turn in your direction.
I don't have any torches handy.
At this point, you see 2 more walking past the building that you're in.
Okay. Can I grab the fighter and shake him awake?
You absolutely can.
All right. Shake awake the warrior.
All right, you shake away the warrior. The warrior, you wake up, and you can see a bit of concern on the wizard's face.
And I put my hand over my mouth and point out the door. Shake awake the cleric.
All right, so you go and shake awake the cleric?
Yep.
All right. Cleric, you're shaken awake. Wizard, warrior, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just gonna go to the situation by myself.
Okay, so you go
I'm
to
gonna join the warrior.
All right, cleric, you wake up and you see some concern, some hustle and bustle going on. Again, you guys both probably try to say something, but no sound comes out, and you two notice that it's dead quiet. No crickets, no frogs.
I prepare my whole scene in front of me
All right.
as I walk with the warrior towards the thing.
All right. So as this, you get to the front door and you creak it back open, you see all 3 now have passed the well and are heading towards the bottom right.
Shake awake the elf.
All right.
What?
I'll take it. At this point, you guys shake everybody awake.
Yes.
All right. So everybody wakes up, seeing the concern on everybody's face. Again, you two all notice that it is silent and you cannot hear anything.
Is it still dark?
It is still dark. It's like midnight.
Okay. I'd like to sneak out into the village and hide.
Okay. Go ahead and give me your either hide in shadows or sneak silently. And at this point, one of the shamblers has stayed somewhat near the well, while the other 2 are continuing towards those buildings down below. And with a 19, you feel quite hidden. You're able to get outside and make your way behind. What would you like to hide behind, necessarily? Which direction you go?
Can I get a review of where everything's going on here again?
Yeah. So
Like
you guys
where
are
I am
in 1-6B.
Okay.
There's one of the shamblers near this well, and then the other 2 are moving over towards these buildings over here.
Okay, and they are. Is that kind of to scale? It can't be to scale. Are they bigger than the buildings?
No, they're like your size.
Okay, all right. And I'm in 1-6B.
Yep.
Okay. I guess I'd like to kind of sneak, behind from the perspective of the shamblers. I'd like to sneak behind 1-6A and make my way from behind building to building until I can get down to 1-2, which was kind of the communal log house or whatever, right?
It's the market. That's the traders post.
Okay, wait a second. Where's okay? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the trade post there.
Okay. I guess let me back up. Where do I think the village elder is?
The village elder, you saw him go into his hut, and his hut is 6C. So the village elder lives in this one here.
Okay, not too bad. I'd like to sneak my way over there if I could.
Yeah, absolutely. With that roll, you actually see like a hole in the backside of the hut that you're in that's small enough or big enough for you to squeeze through. Not having to worry about noise, as you can tell that there's not much noise going on. You can definitely get between there, get around behind 6A, and start making your way over to 6C. I'd say you can be on the edge of 6A, ready to go across that gap on your next turn. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and throw everybody into initiative as everyone is awake. So with that, above the chat log, there is a little icon for crossed swords. If you click on that, it'll open up the combat tracker, and you can just click the dice for your initiative. And if you would like to pop out the tracker, you can just right-click on it, and it'll pop it out for you. All right, so with that, we are up to the thief. So the thief quickly moves around to 6A, and we'll start there with you.
No, sorry. That was the halfling.
That was the halfling. The halfling that snuck around. There you go. You're good.
I am still 6B.
Okay. Yep. So thief. Everyone else is in 6B. The halfling has made his way over to 6A.
Yep.
Okay. So thief, you are up. You are starting us off.
So I would like to make my way over to the village cleric, which was in 1-4, and shake him awake.
Okay.
I think.
As
so
you make
I would like to hide.
Go ahead. Do that.
Give me a second, so I can just click the. Would it be? Can I just choose between hide in the shadows and?
Yeah, either one works right now because it is
sneak silently.
Dark out, so there's plenty of shadows to hide in, or you can sneak silently. So with a 12, you feel like you've done a pretty decent job at staying hidden. It is, again, quiet, but as you reach maybe about 5 feet from the door, you start to hear your footprints as you are making your way across the soil. As you reach the edge of this small little building, you notice that it's a simple building, appears to be fashioned out of sun-baked mud. Unlike the surrounding homes, the architecture here had no obvious intent at straight lines or smooth walls. Instead, this looks more like an overly large mud daub rising from the ground. And as you get there, you smell in the air like the smell of dead fish and swamp muck, giving it kind of an unpleasant atmosphere. And as you look inside, go ahead.
If I were to peek behind as I run towards it, do I, as I start hearing my footsteps, do I still see the beasts?
Yep, you see them, and you would say that the closest one is about 25, 30 feet away from you at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. I just want to go into the building.
Yep. So as you get to the front entrance, there's not an actual door here. It's more of a cloth barrier. You pull that to the side, and inside you see a single chamber housing a simple cot and a small table that acts as a focus of the shrine. Upon it rests a pair of lit candles and a brass offering bowl from which some sort of musky incense are rising. And you see a body laying on the cot. You would assume that this is Zebulon sleeping.
Not a dead body, right?
It's not moving. You would assume he's just sleeping.
Yeah, okay. Shake him awake.
All right. You're going to be able to get to him and shake him, and then you see him kind of turn over, and he's very, very old. The hair on his head is extremely thin. Like, there's a few strands of hair coming off that are all wiry. He looks emaciated, like just his bones are, almost visible. He is so thin. And he's wearing, just like cloth robes. Looks very, very old. And he turns confused. And with that,
I go.
that'll be all you'll be able to do on your turn to get over there
For
and
sure.
wake him. So with that, Cleric, you are up.
Right. So we are in 1-6B, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Um. Well, um. I'm just gonna take my what's it called? My sling.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to hit the creature by the well.
Okay. Oof. With a natural 1, as you bring your sling overhead, it gets caught on like a loose nail and tears. And your rock goes clattering across the ground. Or, well, it skips across the ground without making a clattering sound.
Great. Well, then, if I can still move, I would try to, as stealthily as I can, go behind 1-6B and just crouch down and shiver in fear.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You get yourself around behind. The moss creatures, again, seem to be, the one that's by the well seems to be watching the other two, which are still making their way over towards the bottom right buildings. All right. With that, the 2 of them continue making their way in between the 2 on the left there, back behind. Looks like they're moving towards this back building here.
Do we know who lives there? Do we remember?
You saw one of the Marshaws head off in that direction. Upon your immediate meeting, go ahead and just give me a quick intelligence check.
Okay.
Just the one person who asked. Yeah, so with that, you can remember that that one is Mirnet Marshaw. And Mirnet is one of the sisters of Mathron, basically the head of the Marchand family. All right.
Okay.
With that, we are up to our halfling.
Okay, so what? As I'm kind of observing these shambling, what are they doing? Are they going into the houses, or are they just kind of looking at them?
The one near the well is just kind of watching off in the direction. He's kind of watching the other 2. And the other 2 seem to be just like slowly walking. They kind of drag their feet as they walk. Their shape seems a bit strange. It is somewhat humanoid, but it just seems to be a pile of vines, and you even see like snakes slithering through them. And so they kind of like drag their feet as they shamble towards that building in the back. They don't seem to be looking around at all. They just seem to be focused and moving in that direction.
Okay, you said they're vaguely humanoid. That would seem to me, do they have some kind of a head, or is it just sort of a mass of?
It looks as though they have, the humanoid figure, so a head of some sort, a torso, arms and legs.
Okay. Am I seeing anything that what I would think of as eyes?
From your direction, you don't see anything of eyes, as they're all kind of looking in the opposite direction.
Okay. I then want to make my kind of cut across maybe this open area, hiding as much as possible to the chieftain or the village elder's hut, if I could.
All right, go ahead and make that next stealth check.
Okay. Nice.
Oh yeah, no problem. You definitely make your way across. Again, you've gotten used to the fact that it's dead silent, and you're not making any noise. So as you dart across, you don't even worry about making a sound. You move so fast that you feel absolutely confident that this thing had no chance of seeing you. And you make it to the back of the 16C, and you see a window covered with a cloth.
Okay, I will make my way in, again, as stealthy as possible.
All right. And I'll say you'll be able to get just inside, and again, inside there's only, again, the one bed. This is a small shack. The one bed on which it looks like Tyr is currently sleeping. A makeshift, shelving unit of some sort with knickknacks and things on it, and a table, and that's pretty much all that's in here. Very, very few belongings. All right, you've made it inside. And with that, we are up to our warrior.
I'd like to, before you go on, I noticed that my die roll, it just says a D20 plus 2. Mm-hmm. I think I should have a plus 6. The second level halfling plus 5, and then plus 1 for 14 agility.
Oh, is that not rolling? It should be rolling, yeah, with a plus 6. If you go and click on sneak and hide, I'm going to click it one more time. There.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I dragged and dropped it into the quick bar, and apparently that's not working. I'll dump that. So,
yeah. If you click on the halfling tab, you'll see the sneak and hide. It's got the plus 6 there. No worries.
Gotcha.
All right, warrior, you are up.
So I take that I can run towards this one here, right?
Absolutely.
Alright, I'm just gonna yell and just run towards him. I'm gonna take my spear, and I'm gonna use my... What is it called again? Oh god.
Mighty D?
War stuff. Yes, that one. I'm gonna attack him with my spear. I'm gonna pierce him and try to use the spear as a lever and slam him the ground, like using his head, just like a hammer.
All right.
So let's see if I'm lucky today.
All right. The deed doesn't go off, but you do hit it with a 16 for a mighty blow of 11 damage. So you go charging forward, letting out a mighty battle cry, but no sound comes out. So it's not as intimidating as you were hoping. But you are able to charge forward, leaping at this creature with your spear, piercing it straight through the chest and pinning it to the ground. And you see it flail a little bit and then start to go limp. And as it goes limp, suddenly you see the vines and snakes start to writhe, and its chest almost start to grow a little bit. And you think you hear like a bubbling sound, but there's still no sound coming out. And suddenly the vines seem to explode in a burst of tendrils that grow out, covering an area that is quite large.
I hope you had your mouth shut.
That is going to be about 40 feet worth of an area around this creature. It is suddenly covered in vines and ivy and things of that kind of nature. I need a reflex save from you. Ooh, that is enough. As it explodes, you somehow are able to dive back up out of the way, kind of like pole vaulting off of your spear as the vines explode out and seem to tangle around everything around you. All right. That one is dead. All right. With that, then, the wizard, you are up. And as as that one dies, suddenly you guys all hear the crickets and the frogs and all sound coming back.
Oh. And the explosion of vines, are the vines living, or is it just like the debris from this mass?
It seems they just spread out suddenly and have become inert at this point.
Okay. So I've got my voice back?
Yep.
All right. And what's the range on those two over by 6H?
They've probably gone just around the corner. If you were to step out and get eyesight on them, they'd probably be about at that 30 to 40 foot range.
All right, I'm gonna magic missile them.
All right, so you run out to get line of sight on them, and you start to cast your spell, and you can hear your words coming out.
Unending pain from depths abyssal. Fall, fell, flow, fly, magic missile.
And it sputters out. Your magic missiles, you see your fingers start to spark a little bit, but the spell is lost.
Lost.
All right. With that, then, you see as you started yelling out these words, one of the creatures seems to turn at the cry of your spell and turn and look at you. All right, Elf, you are up.
Okay, since they're around the corner, I'm going to get to about there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to shoot that one with my bow.
All right. You see it turning and starting to move back in your direction. And 8 or 19, mighty blow straight to its chest. It sticks into its chest. As it hits its chest, you don't hear any sound as it hits it. You hear the thwang of your bow release, but as it hits it, you hear no sound, and it takes 2 points of damage.
Okay.
All right, back up to the thief.
Yes. Shake the cleric, the village cleric away, and go. The swamp beasts are back.
And you see he's very slow to get up, and he puts out a hand for you to help him up. And as you help him up,
I'll help him.
What's that? What's that now?
The beasts are back. Quick, we need your magic.
Yes, quick! And he gets up, and he's moving extremely slow. like this guy probably has like 10 feet of movement per round, if that. And he's like,
Can I?
Let's go.
He's quite light. Can I pick him up and carry him?
You absolutely can. You can pick him up.
I would like to do that.
He's like, oh, whoa! You pick him up and charging out of the hut, and I'll say you guys are able to get just outside the hut with him, and he seems a bit, wee as you carry him out, but he seems to be coming to his senses, and he seems ready to help in whatever way he can on his next round.
As comical effect, can I add, like, my character does, like, horse sounds?
Absolutely.
That's my turn, then.
All right. Cleric, you are up.
Yes. So, from where I'm standing right now, which is behind 1B, right?
Yep.
Is there a way in which I can get line of sight for the other two?
Yeah, you can move down and join the the wizard and the elf. They're kind of standing just above 16C, so they have line of sight down between these other two buildings.
Right. So I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
And whilst I'm doing that, I'm like shaking. I go like, "Oh, the power of Amuntor compels you. The power of Amuntor compels you." Until I get line of sight.
Okay.
And as of now, could I attempt to cast Turn Unholy?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to do that to the first creature in my line of sight.
All right. Oof, that's going to be a good result. Natural 20. These things are 3 hit die.
Nice.
So the 23, you can turn 1d3 plus character level of creatures. So go ahead and roll that d3.
1d3, yes. So I just... Okay, cool. Okay.
All right, so 1. There you go. Oh no, plus character level, so you get 3 total. So you can turn those 2, and at that level 2, you're able to do the Holy Smite. So at high levels, the cleric's turn intent produces holy energy that smites unholy creatures in close proximity. This is in addition to turning effect and can be directed the same direction as the cleric's line of sight. So go ahead and roll that additional D3.
So another D3, sure.
It's a beam. 60-foot beam of holy energy blasts out from you and will hit the first creature.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. So, right.
For 1 point of damage. So with that, he'll take that point of damage, and you see him turning to flee, and you see both creatures now. The other one even turns back and looks at you, and they begin shambling away towards the woods. Actually, they probably turn and head towards the swamp water. So they try to jut down between the other two buildings towards the swamp water on their turn, which is next. So that is a great turn on holy effect there.
Ooh.
All right, your god is with you.
Yes. Indeed.
All right, swamp shamblers on their turns will flee the cleric and begin making their way down towards the water's edge. All right, Halfling, you're up.
So they're running away. I'll get in this shack, I guess, and make the elder aware of what's going on if he's not already aware.
All right. You see, he's kind of looks like he's waking up a little bit. The cries and things that have been going on since this sound has come back. He kind of wakes up and rubs his eyes and sees you inside. He's a little bit caught off guard that you're in his shack here without him realizing that you were there. What's going on? What's going on?
You're being attacked. The village is under attack by some kind of shambling mounds.
We are! He immediately grabs his blanket, wraps it around him, and darts for the door, as fast as the old man's legs will take him. And he opens it and sticks his head out. And he sees the vines covering the entire central area of the village. He sees the warrior pulling his spear out of the ground. He sees the wizard, elf, and cleric there, with their fingers drawn, the bow drawn, casting their magics. He follows their line of sight and looks over and sees the two shambling creatures moving towards the water. Oh dear! So I'll give you one more action there, Halfling.
Okay, I will go out the way I came in, through that window in the back.
Okay.
And then if I've got any more motions, this dead shambling mound up here, I'd like to go examine it.
Okay, you can move towards it. And as you get towards it, I'll let you do a full investigation on the next one. But as you move towards it, it looks like when the vines exploded, it left behind what was inside the vines, and it looks like there was a body inside.
Cool.
All right, warrior, you are up.
Is there any way that I can reach any of those two?
Yeah, you can move forward and get to the communal fire area and have line of sight on both of them.
All right, so I'm just gonna run toward this one here, and I'm gonna attack with my spear. Given the okay, so my deed is I'm gonna try to pierce this monster, and same thing as before, but instead of slamming on the ground, I'm gonna try to throw his body into the other one.
Okay.
Ah!
Oof. Unsuccessful on that one. As you go charging around the corner, you just get to a point where they're just out of reach. Not quite able to get close enough, and you try to swing at them quickly, but your swing comes up short and misses.
That's life.
All right, wizard, you are up.
That is life indeed.
Are they still in range for a short bow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, magic.
When magic fails, there's always short bows.
All right, a 16 will definitely hit for 6 points of damage. Are you attacking the one in the back or the one in the front?
One's injured.
One is injured. You can go after the injured one?
injured one.
All right. I will say that that is going to be enough to finish that one off. As the arrow hits it straight in the back, you see it fall down onto the ground. As it falls down onto the ground, it too starts to writhe and shake and then explode, covering the ground area in more vines. And actually, it's going to be 2d30 worth of range. So let's find out how big the space that is. An even bigger space, about 53. Yeah, so it's a larger area. So with that, warrior, you're the only one close enough. Give me another reflex save.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
This time, you are unable to react in time as the vines explode. They wrap around you, up your legs, up your body, and are now constricting you.
No.
All right. With that, the elf is up.
Yeah, I'd like to ask, does the explosion of the vines knock back the one behind it?
No, the other one seems to just move over them like no problem. Like it's part of it.
Okay. Then I will run over to over here. And from there... Can I get within 15... Do I have enough movement to get within 15 feet?
Yeah, I would say so.
Then I will use Flaming Hands.
All right.
Oh.
Oof. You run over, you begin snapping your fingers to ignite them, and as you go to say the words and cast the spell, as you get within that range, suddenly sound is gone again. Warrior, sorry, you too, you can't hear anything over there as well. You get inside this range, and suddenly your words, you start to say them, and there's no audio coming out again. And your spell does not go off.
Sad.
All right, with that, we're back up to the thief carrying the village cleric there, old Nebula.
Hell yeah. Okay, so did the warrior take any damage, or did anybody take any damage?
I don't think anyone's taken any damage yet.
Does the cleric have any way of helping the warrior out with some sort of spell? If I use my movement to sort of get into the range of, I don't know how I.
If you just click and hold, it'll do a little thing there.
There we go.
Yeah.
I go like to over here.
Yeah, I'll say you can get just about there where you have line of sight there. The warrior's on this edge here. So you can get to within eyesight, and he's like, old Jebulon says, you get me close enough, and I can try to give him a blessing.
Yeah. Let's do that. I'll do that.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a D5.
A D5.
So below the chat, you'll see the little dice tray. It's the third one on the top.
Let's go.
All right.
4. Awesome.
You hear him start to say some prayers, and he pulls out a little holy relic that he has, and then suddenly, the warrior, you feel a sense where you seem to be able to sense where that these creatures are nearby. You feel that for the next day or so, you're going to be able to sense when these kind of creatures are within 100 feet or so of you. Maybe not the exact location, but you can tell if they're in proximity.
And I'm gonna go, that's a neat trick, old man. Do you have any more of that to go around? As I end my turn.
Yeah, I could probably do so. All right, well, that cleric is up.
Right. So, I would like to approach to get in the proximity of the warrior, but somehow avoiding the vines, if that is a possibility.
You can walk over the vines. They're inert at this point. It's just when they first explode out that they wrap around things.
Okay, cool. So, can I get into melee range with the creature?
Yeah. I could say you could just get within melee range there.
Okay, cool. Well, I would like to do that, and I will attempt to poke it with my spear.
All right. As you get within about 20 feet or so, you notice that the sound under your feet goes out. You hear no sound again. But you run forward with your spear and stab that thing straight through the chest, doing 8 points of damage, and that is enough to kill it. And it too...
And I go like,
it too falls to the ground, writhing, and explodes another 45 feet range. So at this point, I need the cleric, the warrior, and the elf all to do reflex saves.
No.
All right, a 7 is a failure, but a 20 and a 15 both succeed. So the warrior, you were already trapped, so more vines wrap around you at this point. The other two are able to dodge out of the way as this explosion of vines comes out. But all 3 are now dead.
I guess you need to replace my token with this one now.
Yeah.
After so many vines.
We confuse you with the bog beast, so we have to attack you now.
Right. With that, you are going to take 1 point of damage. The warrior takes 1 point of damage from these vines kind of constricting on you. But the rest of the party can then help cut you free. Alright, all 3 of the creatures are dead, and sound has come back. You guys can hear.
And I start, fuck! That hurts! Well, I'm gonna take the those 3 bodies. So basically, you're saying that inside this moss, there's a body, right?
Yeah, as you go and investigate and start to look closely, the first creature has... it's a person with gray hair flecked with red. It is the person up here by the well.
Alright, I'm gonna take the all 3 bodies. I'm just gonna lie down close to the 1-5. And I'm just gonna call the village elder to give me an idea of who those people are.
Alright. 2 of them, if you do create those little circles using your tile control, just, using the measurement controls, just put your cursor over the center of it and click delete and it'll get rid of them. I'll do it for you. Alright, you can able to bring 2 of the bodies over. So the first one, as I said, looks like a person, a man with gray hair flecked with red. The second is a gray-haired person with a broken, what looks like a leg that was broken in a couple places and didn't heal correctly. And the third is an unidentifiable skeleton. That one, you can bring over parts of it, but it falls apart into pieces as you try to move it.
Alright, so, so getting the elder to tell us what he can tell about those bodies.
He looks down and says, "Oh, well, I recognize these 2. That there," and the gray-haired flecked with red, he said, "that seems to be Luther Gauze." And that's the body that looks like it was almost human, like not dead or anything like that, until it just got killed. And then the other one, the gray-haired person with a leg that was badly broken in 2 places, didn't heal correctly, that looks like the body of Rita. That's my deceased wife. She's been dead for some time.
So these are not part of the 3 total that disappeared, or are they?
These are not. Oh no, Luther is. Sorry, Luther is, but Rita is not.
Luther is. In the meantime, can I bring over the village is cleric and like go around starting with me, like in the initiative order, starting with me, and try to give a buff to each of the party members, or ask the cleric very nicely to do so?
Absolutely. Yeah, if this kind of thing's going on, we're going to need all the help you can get. And so he pulls out his holy symbol and kind of goes around to each of you. Is there anyone unwilling to take a blessing from Glaucus, the god of... What is it? He is the god of... If I find my right sheet here. God of lakes, rivers, and fisher folk.
I
Is he
mean,
lawful, neutral, chaos?
yeah,
He'd be more of a neutral.
we're neutral. Well, I'm assuming that this god would be par on par with Amun Thor, both being neutral gods. So, yeah,
All right.
I'm willing to take the blessing.
All right then.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good. Then we will start with the thief. Thief, go ahead and roll me a d5.
Will do. D5. 2.
2. Goes over and starts blessing you and touches you on your forehead, and you are blessed and gain a plus 1d bonus to checks while navigating in the Twilight Marsh.
Ooh, okay. Oh, that's awesome.
Make my notes here as well. Plus
Is
1d.
there somewhere I can... Is there somewhere I can note this on my character sheet?
If you open up your character sheet and go to notes, there's a little edit icon. Click on the edit icon. You can type in whatever you want. Just make sure you click on the little save icon so it saves it.
This is plus 1 or plus 1d?
Plus 1d. So up
okay,
1
so I
on the
rolled
dice
24.
chain. Yep. When navigating in the Twilight Marsh. All right, Cleric, you can go ahead and roll me a d5.
Sure.
A 3 goes up and blesses you and touches you on the forehead, and you feel like, for some reason, you now have the ability to speak with fish.
Amazing. Blop, blop.
And these will last basically, so sunrise is coming. The following sunrise is how long this will last. So you'll have basically 24 hours of these effects. All right. Next, Halfling, go ahead and roll me a d5. 2, you also gain the plus 1d bonus while navigating the Twilight Marsh. Plus 1d navigating.
Are we going to have a break built in here, or should I just step away for a minute?
Yeah, we'll break at 10, and so 30 minutes here. All right, okay. With that, Warrior, you're up.
So what do I roll again? Sorry?
D5.
D5. Alright, let's do it.
A 5.
Don't give him the fish stuff.
No. Well, it's somewhat fishy. Now, you are blessed, and you feel empowered that you are going to be incapable of being drowned for the next 24 hours.
Wow.
Always miraculously escaping such a fate through outlandish means.
Well, I guess I'm a fucking fish now.
We're gonna get along just fine then.
Alright, no drowning for the warrior. Alright, Wizard, you are up. A 1. You are immune to the bites and stings of insects for 24 hours.
Why did it come up as Elven Navigator?
I don't know. The elf is an elven forester, so I'm not sure exactly. That's okay. Alright, next is the elf. And a 5. You too are incapable of being drowned.
I'll take it. There's actually something I want to do.
Okay.
And I want to check the old body of Luther.
Okay.
And I want to make sure how recently he died.
Go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
Oh.
Best you can tell, he probably died within the last couple days. You don't really see any decay on him.
Can I ask the cleric to try and perform that as well? Because I'm just not that proficient for whatever reason.
Cleric, if you want to investigate the bodies, you can go ahead and do one intelligence check as well.
Sure. Just a second. Intelligence. Right.
All right, with a 13, I'll give you a +2 for the elf helping you out, kind of pointing some things out, pulling off the vines and things like that. Yeah, you assume that Luther has been dead no more than 48 hours, probably actually even less than that.
Okay.
So we're sure, we are sure that we didn't kill any of these then.
Yeah, you're sure that these were already dead, especially the other two. Luther looks freshly dead, but you do see like wounds on it, and his eyes are like that milky white color that tell you he's been dead more than 15 minutes.
Luther is freshly dead and he's freshly missing.
Luther was more freshly missing as far as you're aware. Again,
When did he go missing?
they're not sure. The Gauze family live out in the swamps and rarely come to town just to trade. They don't really interact with the village very much. So to know exactly when he went missing would be difficult, as he doesn't interact with the town much.
Gotcha.
So none of the bodies looks like Averill?
No.
Is there any way we could determine, either through our own cleric or through the village cleric, who the bone structure is? The third body that is just bones, skeleton.
The old Nebulon there, he'll head over and look at him. It's just a skeleton. That'd be near impossible. We'd have to figure out where it came from, and that also in this swamp area would be quite impossible to figure out. I don't think we're going to be able to identify this last skeleton.
How long ago did the adventurer disappear?
How long did who disappear?
The adventurer, the third person.
Avril? Or...
No, the other one. Because you said there was three: the adventurer, the old Luther, and Avril.
That one. Oh, he came passing through town probably about a week or so ago, and disappeared basically the same night he was here.
So it could be him, but it might be someone much older.
Yeah, you can tell like it's skeleton as much as you think that this is somebody who was buried somewhere for quite a long time or had died out in the swamp a long time ago. It looks like it naturally decayed skeleton. There's no flesh or anything left on it.
Maybe the cleric can tell by the bone structure if it's a male or a female skeleton.
I'll give you one more check on that to see if you can tell if it's male or female.
Can I help as I'm a corn farmer?
No, not on that one. 10.
Well,
Yeah, you find it hard to tell. You haven't done a lot of anatomy checks on bone structure between male and female, so are unable to really identify which gender the skeleton was.
Yeah, it might be an elf. We're quite slender.
Could be.
I'll finally, respectfully put down the cleric and go like, well, that was a ride, wasn't it?
Yes, thank you for bringing me out here. I haven't moved that fast in ages.
Maybe my character will just go maybe and then go silent if he realizes this might be indecent.
All right. So with that, you see, a few of the other villagers have kind of poked their heads out and come out to investigate and see what's going on, and time settles down. Everyone kind of settles down. The sun is starting to rise after a little while, and it is morning for you guys. And now, what would you guys like to do at this point?
So the cleric can just give us the buffs if we come back to him, right? The other cleric.
Yeah, he possibly could.
Maybe our cleric, also has a buff to give? No? Okay.
I mean, I guess I could give you all protection from evil, but I'd rather do it when we get into the thick of things, so it wouldn't be a waste.
I'll give you guys a couple more things too. So as you guys are communing here, the old Zebulon says, he starts reading out a couple different things here. He gives you a bit of a background. He tells you the legend of the bog beast. So I'm going to share this with you. All right. He tells you, they say that the bayou has a long memory, and them that says that is right. Sometimes memory is just something that you hold in your mind, but sometimes magic gets mixed up with memory and makes something different. It makes a monster. Back before the Marshaw arrived here, there were some well-to-do folks that kept to themselves. Folks said that they prayed to an idol out in the swamp, an idol to the Dark One. Anyhow, they lived out in the bayou, and nobody ever gave them no mind. Heck, most folks didn't think about the old legend until last year when little Idris, Waterlight, went missing. Idris is the little girl you were talking to. So the Gaz clan, they seemed the right folks to question. Thing was, a few that went out looking for them, they never came back. After a while, folks started getting pretty nervous. People started talking about the witch of the waterways. She's supposed to be really strong. They say that she can cure any sickness, even a wasting fever, and when she sets her mind to something, there ain't nothing that can turn her away, nothing to turn her and her snake away. At least, almost nothing. Another thing is that nobody back then knew that the lizard folk worshipped the father of toads. Well, they were pretty worried about all things going on too, and had also decided that something had to be done. So they set out to summon the children of their god to put an end to the doings of the Dark One's folks. You can figure that with all these folks running around casting their hoodoo, something was bound to go wrong, and go wrong it did. Under the sky of a new moon, all of these groups was working their magics when the bayou remembered a time when no man moved over its waters, and it took their magic and twisted it into an egg. From that egg hatched the bog beast, part man, part snake, part bayou. Well, that thing, it was mad at all of them, and it went after those folks with an alarming vengeance, an almighty vengeance. The witch of the waterways, she managed to do some sort of big hoodoo out in the swamp and put the monster to sleep, trapping it under the muck. But it is still out there, and it wants out. So never wander into the swamp at night, and never go playing around the old god's place, because the bog beast is still out there sleeping, and you don't want to be the one to wake it. At least that's what my granny always said. And he tells you that story.
Well, I'm gonna wake it up and kill it.
So, the Idris was the little girl that was aside from all the other ones.
Yep, she's the one that didn't believe in the bog beast stuff.
And she went missing, and the legend doesn't say how she got back.
If you ask me, she went missing. She was gone for about a week or so, possibly a day or two longer than that. But we found her. She was stuck out on one of the islands, and she was rescued. She didn't seem too much worse for wear. She was a little tired and hungry, but other than that, she seemed okay.
Yeah, I would like to go talk to Idris.
All right.
Somebody else would like to also join me on that one.
At this point in the morning, everyone's kind of up and moving around, and you see Idris and can go talk to her. Her father is with her and seems a bit protective, kind of like keeping her behind him.
Yeah, so, Idris, you went missing for a while. Did you see anything weird in the swamp?
Yeah, that's true. No, I mean, some devil gators nearly got me, but I was able to get up on one of the islands and get behind some thick brush and was able to hide out until the village was able to find me.
Did you move around? Were you just there on that island?
Well, I went out on a skiff. I was looking for some flowers. I wanted to make a wreath of sorts, and my boat got turned around and I got lost. The pathways out in the marsh seemed to change all the time. I got lost, and when my boat struck something and started taking on water, I had to quickly swim to an island nearby, and luckily there were some berries and frogs and things I was able to eat but I was just stuck there until the good people of the village were able to find me.
There's nothing like off about how she talks or anything.
The way she speaks and carries herself, she seems to carry herself as someone much older than her age, and speak with words that children normally wouldn't use.
Say, you've been reading a lot, Idris?
We don't have a lot of books around here, but a couple here and there pass through, and I try to read when I can.
I kind of look over to the cleric or the wizard or anyone, or even the elf, and with the curious, like, this is a little weird. Maybe you guys should investigate. Look.
I'm gonna go over to the dock area and attempt to talk with some fishes.
All right.
Well, I played down, but just come to here. What do you think is so weird about that?
Yeah, so I just feels that she's older than she is, if you know what I mean. As if an older soul is trapped in a younger body.
She said
Like a black orphan thing.
She said she was by doppelgangers. So anytime doppelgangers are in the picture, it seems like there should be some. We should do some testing just to make sure she's not one of them. We might have detect evil or detect magic might pick it up, or if failing that, maybe we need to do a blood test or something. But I guess I would talk to the chief and the cleric before I did any blood tests.
I agree, but you magic people do magic stuff, Can't you see if that's real or whatever?
Psst. Hey, fish whisperer. We need your detect magic. If you have it, sorry.
I mean, I could attempt to detect evil. Sure. I was having so much fun with the fishes, and I attempt to cast detect evil on Idris.
Okay. All right. So detecting creatures of opposed alignment, and you are currently
Neutral, if
Neutral?
I'm not mistaken.
Yep. All right. So you do a detect on her, and something definitely seems off about her, but you're not getting necessarily an evil from her. But there's definitely, she doesn't seem as though she's just a plain child.
Okay. So like an otherworldly sort of feeling? Perhaps?
Something. There's some kind of magic in her or something that you're getting a sense of.
Okay. So I share this with the party. Go like, well, there's definitely something going on with this child. But it seems like my god cannot help me much more than this. I go back to talk to the fishes.
I could attempt to invoke my patron. If we think it's that important.
Maybe we were sent out to investigate in the bog for Avril, if I got that correctly.
Yep, she's one of the ones you wanted to look for and then see what happened to the rest of the Gauze family, because you haven't seen any of them in town for a while.
Was there any specific direction we were sent in, or was it just like go out into the swamp?
In the morning, he was going to draw you a quick map, so he actually hands that to you at this point, and he gives you a direction of how to get to the cemetery where the Gauze family's shack is, and then there's also another line that leads towards Luther Gauze's hut, which is basically a little bit off to like the northwest area.
So reading a map is kind of like a knowledge-based thing, right?
Yep.
So Laszlo is not very smart. So I know somebody else also got the buff to get the.
Yeah, it was the thief.
Yeah, I
the
did.
thief and the halfling. Yep.
Yeah, the halfling did. Yep.
I shall give it to you. I shall give the map to you.
Okay.
And I would also like to ask maybe the dad. That's sort of a secondary thing, but I did want to ask the dad if like was there anything off about little Idris's diet ever since she.
No, she's partaking in the communal meals as we do each night, and I haven't seen her eating anything strange.
Do we know the location? So there's the information about a witch. Do we have a location for that witch out in the swamps?
No direct location. Not everyone knows kind of like really about her. Some people think that she's nothing but a rumor. Nobody in town can tell you exactly where her hut would be if she's out there. They say in the middle of the bayou, the bog.
Do we have a name for her?
They call her Zanny, the witch of the waterways.
So when that conversation with Idris is going on quietly, I go behind her at some point, and when it seems like an opportune moment, I just say, Zanny, see if it catches her attention.
She hears you and turns and looks at you and kind of gives you like a questioning look.
Oh. That's interesting. All right.
Okay, so whilst I was, whilst the party was questioning little Idris, I did some questioning of my own with the fishes. If that is a possibility, I would like to explore it.
Yeah, so they're fish. They're not super intelligent or anything like that. So they, food.
Okay, right. Let me see if, let's say, well, I don't have any food on me, so I'm like just gonna look at them and smile in a very dumb manner, and then go back to the party. Clearly, the fish cannot help me.
Yeah, they seem disappointed they didn't have any food, and you seem swimming off again. Food. You can hear them like saying that as they swim off looking for food.
Yeah, I sigh like.
All right. So at this point, you can see that a few of the fishermen have gone down to the docks and have gotten some of their boats ready for you. So there is 3 boats ready that you guys can take. Each of them looks like, they have some mucky green swamp moss attached to the sides of them that's kind of grown on them. And each of them looks like it has maybe like a knuckle's worth of standing water in the bottom. They're fairly rickety and look a little bit old, but they'll definitely do better than your makeshift raft that you had.
Before we set up,
Would Idris be willing to come with us?
The father stands there and goes, no. I cannot risk that. I lost my son a while back. I cannot risk losing my daughter as well.
Get me a attempt to convince him.
I'll let you know that any amount of convincing will not work on him. He is extremely protective of his daughter and will not let her
What
out of his
about
sight.
intimidation?
No level of intimidation or communion, any kind of coercing will not work for him.
What about the word of a god?
The word of a god? You can try one word of God if you would like to try that, but I highly doubt it. It would be an extremely high check.
Do elves spell burn?
Elves can spell burn, yes.
Just make it a DC 636.
DC 30. No. All right. But yeah, so he is holding his daughter back, and he's like, no. I almost died when she went missing. After losing my son, It would kill me to lose young Idris, and I just cannot let that happen.
No, I think I will do it. I think I will do it. I just want to do it just for a crazy thing. I want to invoke my patron, Elfland.
Okay.
And I want to use 10 strength and 5 stamina, so 15 plus.
All right. So plus 15 puts you up at 25. And these are all per judge. So Elfland. All right, let me get to my patron page. King of Elfland.
That would get you arrested in town.
All right. Patron King of Elfland. Invoke patron. All right. Well, what you are going to get is invoke patron check. Caster's weapon are enchanted with a wrathful magic of Elfland for the next 1d4 plus character level rounds, so not very long. Target struck by the caster's weapons must exceed blah blah. So that's going to run out before you probably get to anything that you'd be fighting. Magic associated with the caster's weapon, not the caster, blah 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 blah. Okay, so outside of that, you attempt to push him to let young Idris come, and your patron, basically, like the shadow of your patron kind of grows behind you. Think of like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings when he raises his voice and you can see his shadow grow behind him, and the image of the King of Elfland appears behind you as a shadow and says to the father there, "Yet young Idris come with them. We have questions for her." And this booming voice like shakes. No one else seems to notice it other than the father, who seems to be trembling now. And he's still like holding on to his daughter like he doesn't want to let her go. And he looks at her and goes, "Young Idris, if you go, you must be safe. You must be careful. You stay out of harm's way. You do not get involved." And she looks up at her father and you know, like she doesn't want to go. And says, "You'd have to drag her with you. She does not want to go."
And I swear to the father, well, I grab the girl's hand, and I say, "I swear to the father that no harm will come to her, on my name and the King of Elfland."
And he's shaking and he's looking up, like the shadows disappeared, but he's still looking up where it was. It's, "Very well, as long as you promise she'll be safe and you can bring her back."
I back up my elf friend and I go like, "Do not worry, she is in good hands. And while you're at it, being so protective, would you mind taking care of my cow while we're gone?"
Yeah, I'll care for your cow.
"Thank you. Then don't worry, little Idris is in really good hands."
All right. With that, she holds your hand and walks with you. So she's a girl of age 9. All right. With that, you guys all head down to the boats.
Before we head into the boats, so could I make a copy of the maps that were drawn? We have 3 boats, right?
Yes.
So make 3 copies. I don't know if the forged documents would help in any way in this.
Yeah, go ahead and just give me we'll say a dexterity we'll say dexterity, how well you can draw it out and copy it.
So I can't use
Agility,
so I cannot use the forged document.
Yeah, you could use forged document because you're copying a document, so that'll work just fine.
Yeah. So I would like to make 2 copies.
Okay. First one looks like it came out pretty much identical.
Okay.
Second one, not as good. Your lines didn't come up as nice as you'd possibly like. Things aren't to the same scale. But at that, you seem to be out of parchments that you could use. But it's good enough. You think your guys are going to stick together, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal.
Yeah, so I would just like to... I'll keep the better one for myself. And, like, we could, like, have... So that each boat has at least 1 map.
All right.
On hand.
All right, with that, timing-wise, we're going to go ahead and hop down to the boats. So you guys get in the boats, say your farewells. All the villagers kind of come out to the docks and wave to you as you're leaving. As you guys get in the boats and start to head off, you hear a thrashing and a splash like off behind you a little ways, maybe like 50 feet away, as you see like the tail of a gator splash around and disappear under the water. And you guys start heading off into the marshland. As you leave the village, you see that all of the trees here, they call them walking trees because the tree roots kind of grow down into the water and lift the tree up out of the water, the tree trunk itself, and the trunk grows up and then spreads out, and they all seem to like intertwine and tangle. So even with the morning light coming in and the sun starting to come up, as you guys head off under the trees, it's dim under here. Bright enough that you can see, but dim. It's not normal daylight, which gives it kind of a encroaching darkness almost. You feel at unease as you head off into this area. Every kind of hoot and croak and splash in the water kind of draws your attention quickly and keeps the hair on the back of your neck up on edge. And you guys are off into the marsh. So with that, it is 10. We'll go ahead and take is 5 minutes enough for everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We will be back in 5 minutes. All right, so as you guys head into the Twilight Marsh, it is cast in a perpetual gloom. The ever-present sounds from the shadows somewhere off out of sight keep you on edge as you see fireflies fluttering around in every direction. As you guys start making your way through, the mangrove trees twist, and in certain areas you can see sediment and mud is built up underneath some of the mangroves, creating these tiny little like illusions of floating islands and things of that nature that make up what landmass there is out here. The water itself appears to range from like knee depth all the way up to like shoulder height. It's pretty shallow through most of this area. There are some areas that you can tell get deeper than that, but for the most part, you're at that like knee to shoulder height water. So as you guys make your first navigational check, which of the specific areas you've been listed are you heading towards? You can head towards Luther Gauze's cabin, or you can head towards the cemetery where the larger Gauze family house is.
What is the distance on foot between the two of them?
They're roughly the same. The cemetery is a little bit further away.
But what is further away? It would take like... Can we go to Luther's house and then go to the cemetery before dusk?
From looking at the map and what they told you, you assume you could probably reach both of them?
Alright, so I vote for us to go to Luther first. If you guys are okay with that.
You go to the house, yes.
All right. All right, then who's making me the first navigation check? You're going to get I know that the halfling, I think you have a map. You have a +1D, and the map is going to give you a +2 on the roll as well. I want to thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed this playthrough of the DCC Horror Module Night of the Bog Beast. We will continue this trip to the Twilight Marsh in episode 2, so don't forget to like and subscribe so you will be notified when the next video is posted. If you would like an opportunity to play in this or other DCC games, visit the Goodman Games Dungeon Crawlers Discord link in the description. And until then, we will see you next time.